Cool. All right. Share the screen. We'll get into it and I'll break them down. I'm going to zip through this and this will be like a little recording for anybody that wants to get the recording once we're done. Happy to dip into that for you and get that for you. All right. So for anybody that comes in late, feel free to ask for the replay. For those that are here, thank you for popping in. Sorry, we got started a little bit late. But we are here with the 8 different real estate exit strategies, how to find them and when to deploy. All right, here we go. Recommendations. In this area, guys, you want to collaborate. You don't want to compete with people. So if you find somebody that's better than you at something, like you should be like offering to pay them to go hang out with them and learn from them. You like straight up, like that's the easiest breakdown that I can give you for collaboration over competition. Like everybody that I've learned from, I've paid to get around them. And once I have their strategies embedded in me, I can then see which one of those exit strategies is going to be best for me to exit that property. So you should learn all of the strategies. Doesn't mean that you have to use them all, but you should learn them all and you should know about them. If you call yourself a real estate sales consultant and somebody that masters the art of conversion and deal architecting, then you got to know which strategies are there for you to utilize in your blueprints. Of course, dial in on the ones that you like and enjoy. I want you to put a heavy emphasis on that one because if you like and enjoy it, that means that you'll show up every day eager to continue doing it. Leverage all the other ones if you can monetize them. What I mean by that is you guys know my partner closer program. I've got many people that come on and I have links to be able to partner with, let's say, Rich Wonders to do a novation, or a link to partner with Tony Mont to disposition a property, or a link to be able to partner or submit a deal to the reverse flipping. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about, leveraging the other exit strategies if you are not the one executing them yourself so you can monetize them. And then, as always, keep a white belt mentality and an open mind to learn new things. Like we're always growing, we're always learning, and we're always trying to figure out how to be better, 1% better every single day. So that's it for that. First one, buy and hold. My favorite, the best option for building long-term wealth by far. When you can use your cost segregation and bonus depreciation to add on to your tax benefits, it becomes like a monthly recurring revenue, right? Like it's a piggy bank that just continues to build upon itself. One of the safest places to park your cash. And these deals are not hard to find, right? You could find them on the MLS. You could find them on the off market. You could find them with vacant absentee lists. And you could start to source those lists to find rentals. If that's your strategy, you got a lot of cash backed and a war chest ready to go to war. This is my end all be all right here. This is like when I have the cash right now, I'm focused on building a war chest up. Once I have a legit war chest, I'm going to utilize like the same formula that Casey from Accruity, and I spelled it wrong, my bad. And I've got a link right there that I'll share with anybody at the end to see more about Accruity. I work with them as my accountants and my bookkeepers. They are the best. He is the one that I follow. I heard he just ripped up the stage at EXPCon with Brandon Brittingham on their acquisition machine playbook. I'm sure they're now taking that to the entire brokerage now for Expand Investing, which is massive. This is just going to be absolutely massive for him and everybody. So you want to take advantage of Casey at Accruity, accruity.com. You can check it out. For example, for the formula, underwriting formula is usually around the 1% rule. So if a house rents for $1,000, max purchase price is going to be $100,000 for the typical investor. Again, this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. This is the reason for, me first getting into real estate, because I want to build a rental portfolio. I've had a rental portfolio. I've sold it. I've built a commercial rental portfolio. I've sold that, parlayed that into other investments, and I'm excited to be able to get back to it. Now that I know about the cost segregation, the bonus depreciation, and all the tax benefits that go along with it, and working with the right bookkeepers, buying and holding is by far the most effective, potent, deadly, whatever you want to call it, strategy, best strategy to use to build your long-term wealth in this business. So my favorite exit strategy, hence why I put it first, and the order of the rest of them are in no order of importance to me. Fix and flip. Best for those who can manage real estate construction sites or have someone to do so. It's a tried and true exit strategy for those that are able to manage those constructions to generate income actively. Again, right here, this is going to be passive income. Over here, active income. You're constantly doing this activity in order to continue to generate said result. You can do it at scale with the right team and standard operating procedures. You find these deals off market and on the MLS, and as well, you can use software tools to find. The underwriting formula for fix and flip is typically, and this is for like a 10% wholesale fee built in, right? So everything that I do is with that in mind. I realized that like after I built this, I was like, holy shit, it's not 80%, it's 70% because I usually build in 10% for myself to wholesale to somebody else. Because usually when I'm doing this fixing and flip exit strategy, it's going to one of my clients that will fix it and flip it. But after they wholesale it or buy the wholesale from me, and then I will list and sell it on the back end after they do the renovation. So they're really buying it 80%. So 80% of ARV in your B and C and in your A and B class neighborhoods is really where you're going to be at. Wholesaling, limited exposure financially and educationally necessary to be able to do this. It's easy to learn and do, requires no license. There's unlimited payouts with very little regulation to no regulation on the amount of money you can make. With a realtor, you're regulated. Like you're taking 4.5, 5.5, 6% listings. And then, yes, you could go higher, but there's more regulation. You usually are going to find these off market mostly. Underwriting formula. Again, guys, I'm getting aggressive here. This is more so for like a C and B class market. 60% of ARV, less repairs. That is the underwriting formula for the third exit strategy, which is the wholesale property. List and sell, got to be a real estate agent. This is the fourth one. Need to have money to prep listings for market. Easy way to access buyers by throwing it on the MLS. It builds credibility though with the other strategies. This is something that I wanted to emphasize. When you're a big real estate firm and then you start a home buying entity, your home buying entity instantly has instant credibility because of the credibility that you have built with your retail team. I use the same thing as a retail agent to be able to parlay my credibility when doing investment deals. I would always lean on my credibility with the other strategies. I would also use my credibility to help me solidify the other strategies whenever I was competing against other individuals. So when I'm looking to list and sell, or let's say I'm coming back over here to buy and hold or to wholesale, and let's say I'm leaning on this credibility to get my wholesale deal done, right? Like how many other wholesalers also have what I have as a realtor? Very few, if not any in my local market. So why wouldn't I emphasize that? Same thing when I'm doing fix and flips or buy and holds, letting them know that, hey, this is We Buy Houses Baltimore. This is our home buying arm of the Kirk Property Group of eXp Realty. I'm sure you've heard of Jonathan, the Kirk Property Group. Like that's what my team is trained to say, right? So we lean on the credibility to help us secure these other exit strategies. Very, very cool little ninja trick that I wanted to make sure not to forget to say. So I'm glad I said that. Seller financing, real quick, you can become an agent, you can list and sell with the right network and the right training. It builds credibility and it trumps other strategies in the format of, it's almost like it can just kind of just knock your whole kingdom down. It can take away everybody else that's doing a buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale, all the other ones on the list. I could be like, you know what? Why don't you just let me list and sell your property and I'll get you X. And here's my credibility. Take a look at what my other sellers are saying about me. And they'll go ahead and they'll do that a lot of times. And I will trump other strategies based upon my credibility as a realtor. Boom, just like that. Okay. All right, here we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's 5, seller financing. One of my favorites. Here's some prerequisites. The seller must have 100% equity. It's got to be having a mortgage paid off, no mortgage, right? Seller won't take less than what they typically want, right? And they don't want to list and sell, pay commissions, etc. This will get you big assignment fees, and I'm going to get into that. So they won't take less than what they want. And this is where we're going to get into the nitty gritty and some scripts and dialogues, guys. So seller must have 100% equity, won't take less than what they want. So I'm speaking to a seller and I pull up, let's say, Real Fuel, right? And I'll demo this for you guys in real time if you want to stick around. And there's any questions. And let me just make sure the chat is opened up as well. So in case there's any questions, the chat is open. Cool. So seller must have the equity. Once I know that the balance is paid off, I'm automatically eyeing seller finance. Of course, I could do a wholesale deal, but then it's like, look, they know that their property is worth X and they're not going to give it away. They want to get this. They're not desperate. So list and sell, they're not going to really want to pay my commissions. They're not going to want to pay a buyer's agent's commissions. They're not going to want to do repairs, replacements, come down in lieu of a appraisal contingency failing to hit and then meeting their value per the contract. There's just so many things where, okay, well, Mr. Seller, what if I can give you exactly what you wanted or even more than what you wanted? How much time would you give me to pay that off? Right? And follow Cash Money Mike Termine, Termine, for more information. This is who I learned from. He's all over my partner closer program. I've interviewed him twice. Recordings are in the classrooms, but you get big assignment fees. I remember I did this one on 37 was it 2900 and 2902 Silver Hill Avenue in Gwen Oak, Maryland, 21207 in Maryland. $35,000 assignment fee. It was a 4-unit double duplex, and the tenants just did not want to be disturbed. The seller didn't want to disturb them. So I'm like, you know what? I just saw Pace Morby at Justin Colby's Wealth Accelerator in 2021. I heard him talking about sub 2, and it literally just came to me. So by you hearing me talking about it, that might be just what you need to strike your first seller finance deal. To be like, you know what? The next time I have a seller, she's got no mortgage. She doesn't want to list and sell it. The house is worth less than what the market value depicts she should get. So if I ask her, okay, well, if I can give you more than what you wanted, how much time would you give me to pay that off? Now we're talking about seller financing. And this gives you the fantastic four of being able to bonus depreciate your taxes, cash flow the property in the meantime immediately. 100% of your mortgage payments to that seller goes towards paying off the principal. And then you also get the appreciation at the same time. There's no other strategy that gives you what I like to call the Fantastic Four, which is being able to depreciate your taxes through the properties that you own, 100%. You get cash flow immediately upon entering this property because you don't go into it unless it's completely cash flowing. And then 100% of those principal, 100% of your mortgage payments, when you upgrade the seller from the seller to the lender, will go towards your balance. You reduce your balance by 100% of those monthly payments, which typically that doesn't happen. You're paying really mostly interest in a typical 30-year fix with a typical mortgage with that amortization schedule. And then you get to take advantage of the appreciation, a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year appreciation, 2%, 4% hike every year on year on year. There's no better wealth builder, in my opinion, than seller finance. And then you're looking at your buy and hold. So buy and hold, seller finance. This is what I'll be doing until they cart me off this planet in some way, shape, or form, because it is a tried and true way. By far, seller finance is my favorite. Once I've got a nice little bankroll, and I'm just spitting out money, I'm going to be just targeting people that have their properties paid off, and I'm going to be just structuring seller finance deals all day long. Okay. So again, easy to structure and easy to close. That's big right there. Easy to structure and easy to close. And then the title company that you have will be a title attorney. They'll do the note and the deed of trust. So again, if I could give you what you were looking for, Mr. Seller, or even more than what you were looking for, how much time would you give me to pay that off? Straight up, straight face, right? Boom, boom, boom. File Cash Money Mike for more on the seller finance. And then we get to sub 2. All right, chime in if you guys know a little bit about sub 2 or have any questions about any of these. A 4% fixed rate or lower is the greatest asset in America today. Okay, that is just what the situation is. A 4% fixed rate or lower is the greatest asset in real estate for America today when it comes to sub 2. Okay, I'm going to talk when it comes to sub 2. Reason why is because anything under a 4% might not be seen ever again. The prerequisites to this is the seller must have little to no equity. They have to either be behind on payments or struggling financially. Interest rate has to be at a 4% fixed or lower, willing to let us take over their mortgage payments for anywhere from 4 to 10 years or more. And the good thing is that there's a low barrier to entry, meaning your down payment to them might only be a couple $1,000s or nothing, or five or $10,000 versus, a seller finance. You're going to be at a higher down payment with the seller finance typically. Sometimes not. Sometimes not. I've gotten away with some really good deals, 25, 35 down, even some with like 10, 15 down. One was 10 down, I remember, because he was just more concerned about the price. So they don't focus as much on the price or the down payment as much as they do on the price. But sub 2 in particular, these people are more in pain. Seller finance are more in pleasure, right? They've got 100% equity. These people have no equity, right? And they're struggling financially. So they have to be willing to let you take over mortgage payments for up to 4 to 10 years in order to make this work. Low barrier to entry to give them money. But there are some risks with this that I will say. There's a due on sale clause where there's a due on sale where the note gets accelerated, due an acceleration clause. And that could be an issue. I've never done any sub twos. This is the only one out of all of the strategies that I've never done. I've put them under contract, but I've never personally closed these and owned these. I've assigned these, so I've wholesaled on these. So I've technically done them and other people have bought them, but I've never, bought them and owned them. So be careful with these, probably the one that I would, have some, warning with that. Novations, one of my newest favorite fads. Closed 3 of these so far. Haven't made a ton of money on the ones I did myself, maybe 5 to 7 grand. But I made really good money on the ones that I've referred to Rich Wonders, the Novation King. The ones that I've made money on, I took over from people that have already tried to do wholesales and I pivoted to a Novation. So it wasn't like I got to start with them from the start. My bandwidth is limited, but I know this is a very effective strategy. This is one of my favorite, my sixth and one of my favorite strategies that I like to use when the seller will not accept cash. An offer that's too low to them and it's not good enough for you to wholesale, fix and flip, or buy and hold, but they're still motivated to sell. They typically do not want to list and sell, so they're jaded when it comes to realtors. So that's okay. If that's the situation, then let's go with them. Don't force them to just work with you as a realtor if you're a realtor. They want to feel like they got their net price. They're all about the net on this one. They will respond well to a fresh new option because they're just sick of everything else that's out there. There no wholesale, no fix and flip, no buy and hold, no list and sell is going to get it done on this one. This one does not happen in a one call close. The way that Rich teaches it, he's in his Rainmaker program. He's got a 3-phase close. He's got the discovery, he's got the anchor, and then he's got the delivery. Those are the 3 different phases versus over here in a wholesale, right? When you're wholesaling property, you want to follow somebody like Eric Klein's 5-step wholesale process, which is the introduction, the fact find discovery, the approval, the offer, the close. 5 steps to lock these wholesale deals up. To do the novations, you're looking at a 3-step process, which is it's really a 3-phase process. And it takes 60 to 120 days to close this deal. Okay. You're managing these people's expectations. You're typically talking to them in the format of you being a creative and a very dynamic investment company and being multifaceted. And though your wholesale offer will not work, what we're able to do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we might be able to get you to qualify for our equity protection program, which is also known as our NET program. If we can get an approval on this, it does take, anywhere from 60 to 120 days, right? Compared to our 30-day close, I know this offer wasn't suitable for you. If we were able to come up, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would it pose a problem for you if the settlement was like anywhere from 60 to 120 days? No? Perfect. Okay, cool. So let me see if we can submit for an approval with this and then we'll let you know exactly what that looks like. Honestly, guys, if you do not invest in Rich Wonder's program, you might want to just submit to his JV link, which I have for you as well. Because his team is just well oiled at this three-phase process. It takes a long time. It requires hands-on work for the whole entire process. And unless you have a dedicated team to doing it, this is what I'm talking about, where you can work with other deal strategists and let them execute on that strategy while you sit back, relax, and collect a check. Like my boy Seth, who pretty much got, I don't want to put any last names, but my boy Seth, who put a massive deal under contract through Rocket Lee, driving traffic with Facebook ads, and then was able to have Rich Wonders make a $42,000 deal. I think Seth made like 17 G's, you know what I mean, for doing, pretty much just the sourcing of the deal. So that's the power of novations. If you're going to do it, go all in on it. This strategy is gangster. Love this strategy. Big shout out to Rich. And there's another gentleman by the name of Eric Brewer who does it at a very high level as well. I don't know so much about his process, but I've heard a little bit, seen a little bit about his team. Love the way he operates. Those that do novations, it's their entire business strategy. They don't really do anything else, and they make a shitload of money. Reverse flipping. Here's the newest, latest, and greatest fad. Requires little to no equity. People have to be behind on their payments. Debt attached to the deed. I bet you've never been able to do something with that anymore. Has to sell now or face foreclosure. Pretty much, this is your short sale. To all my realtors out there watching, this is your short sale team, right? With the reverse flip team, with the Schiller brothers. They are absolutely amazing at what they do. You can get a short sale done in 45 days versus 6 months. I think that all the foreclosures are going to turn into short sales as we see here in the future. A lot of people struggling financially. So you're going to see a lot of reverse flipping happening with people behind on payments, foreclosures, bankruptcies, liens attached. They don't want to sell. They need to sell, right? So this is the strategy to utilize for the reverse flipping. I've also got a link to get you in as well under my community for the reverse flipping, which I can attach as well. I'll put into the chat. You could find these leads specifically via realfuel.ai. I'll just kind of show you guys Real Fuel real quick, what that looks like. You can get like zip codes anywhere you want, but you're going to pay for it. If you want the whole nation, you can get that as well on a monthly basis. Same thing with a county, or you can get a state lockdown, and then you can have access to AI data so you know the right type of people to go to that are going to be a fit for reverse flipping, or are going to be a fit for seller finance, right? Or are going to be a fit for subject to, or it might be a fit for wholesale, right? There's just so many different ways to be able to get this done. It all starts with you being able to find the deals, right? So you're like, how, when and how can I find the deals? I'm going to go ahead and log in here. If I can get logged in, there we go. To my Real Fuel. And I'll just kind of show you guys an example. Let's say I was like looking in Baltimore, Maryland, right here, and I was looking for leads for reverse flipping real quick. Because remember, I told you guys I was going to show you how to find them. This is how you do it. You have filters with a service like Real Fuel, which is literally $50 a month, just to get entry to it. And then you could pay for the filters or the AI. Let's say I want foreclosure information just here in Baltimore, and I want to see everybody that's been served a foreclosure within the last 3 months. I can see here, it just took me down to 161 people. So as you see right there, just like that, guys, I've got the ability to go ahead and get really high level data where I see they're very likely to sell at a discount in the next 90 days, likely to sell to a landlord the next 90, likely to sell in the market. But this one is screaming wholesale because look at all these like pre-foreclosure, tax delinquent. We got some issues attached to this one. Sandra Ford. Sorry to put you out, Big Sandra. But like maybe I'll call you and I'll help you, get out of the situation with your 2 open loans. See if there's any other look, pre-foreclosure, notice of default, all recent, just recently served that. So like this is deadly information. If I wanted to, I could mail out to all these people via Real Connected or via Real Fuel, right? Real Fuel is to source the data and get out to them, right? You can add them to your leads. You can literally mail to them. You could do whatever you want to them and mail to these lists in bulk from this platform. And then you could also find them via Real Connected. Real Connected can do the advertising via search engine optimization. pay-per-click, Facebook ads, web design, so on and so forth at fractions of a price of what you guys are used to. But I don't really want to put a heavy emphasis on that. I just want to show you that there is a lot of ease in which you can find these opportunities and be able to monetize them. Liz said, I did one novation, made approximately 40,000. There you go. Just like that, you're able to make $40,000 from a novation that you would have never known that exit strategy had it not, been on your radar. So one man's trash is another man's treasure, another woman's treasure when it comes to this business. By the way, it's good to see you on here, Liz. Yeah, guys, chime in with any questions if you have any questions in the chat or the Q&A section. Happy to answer a couple questions while we're still on. But I really like the idea of being able to come in, present the presentation, kind of present the information, and then package it up and then send out a replay, upload it to YouTube, create some content that will be evergreen for folks to be able to reference back to it. I hope that was helpful, where it kind of broke down just from my mind feed to the PowerPoint. I just like zapped it together real quick about like how I break down and analyze and underwrite these deals. And it's very organic with the way that I do it, where it's one or the other. It's like I came to my mind, I'm like, there's 8 different strategies. There's buy and hold, there's fix and flip, there's wholesale, there's list and sell, there's seller finance, there's the subject to, there's the novation, and now you've got the reverse flipping. I've closed every single one of them except for a reverse flip, which, that's the newest, latest, and greatest one that's out there. My favorites that I've closed the most of or had the most fun with, those are 2 different questions. I've closed the most of list and sell. I mean, like, there's no doubt about that. I've been a realtor for, 13 plus years. I've closed upwards of 700 or 800 houses as a listing agent or a buyer's agent. I've wholesaled hundreds and hundreds of properties. I've seller financed maybe 15. So I've done 10 to 15 seller finance properties. They were all amazing. They were all just mind-blowingly lucrative. Just the seller was all about it. They trusted me. Have to have a high level of trust when it comes to seller financing. When you've got that high level of trust, man, they're willing to give you the keys to the kingdom. They're trusting you for 7 to 10 years to make equal monthly payments to them. That's where Cash Money Mike Termini comes into play in his training. Subject to, they've got to trust you. But again, I would say their level of astuteness for business is definitely much higher with seller finance. Subject to, they're somebody that's letting you take over their mortgage payments. They're not in the greatest of situations, right? So it's not the hardest to get somebody in that position to trust you when you're willing to give them money that most people would not be willing to give them, because most people don't understand the subject to process to be able to facilitate and go through it from start to finish. Okay. Then you've got your novation. I mean, this is just an amazing breakdown of being able to communicate at a high level. When you're able to emphasize to these sellers that, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know my cash offer didn't work out for you. Like I told you, I'm a very multifaceted, a creative investment, dynamic real estate company. So I am able to push forward for this novation option. And I don't say novation, I say push forward for this equity protection program. Like you said, you're okay with the 100 or 60 to 120 day close. If they can come up, they would be able to alleviate you having to pay for commissions, transfers, recordations, closing costs. You wouldn't have to negotiate the price, the terms, the condition, the inspection, the way that they take possession, the buyer, that is. But this property will be put onto the MLS and sold to a third party. In order for them to come up, this team, our team, my team, will facilitate this transaction. It's very labor, very resource and energy intensive. So if we're able to come up to your price and just managing expectations of this is how that's going to work, right? So I'm like explaining this stuff at a very high level with innovation when I'm doing it myself versus just giving it to Rich Wonders. Again, I would be doing these at a high level myself with my own team if I had my own team to do it. I'm just not in a position to be able to do that with my own team right now. Maybe soon. It's showing that more and more that I might come in and start and really just do this at a high level and build my own team, because I know all the different exit strategies. I could train my own team. I'm training just a lot of other folks. I've got more and more people signing up with me every single day with my partner closer program, my tier 2 program. The way that I'm working it right now, it's really starting to hit. and become successful with me, helping folks once they hire, lead, train, and manage and help coordinate their team to using whatever softwares they're using. Just been very effective. But it's very difficult unless I'm managing the Novation myself to trust somebody else to carry that out. So I'd much rather you work with Rich Wonders at first or invest in his Rainmaker program and train yourself in the Novation process. Then, of course, you got the reverse flipping. I do reverse flipping. I have 7 or 8 people under me right now that are doing reverse flipping in my community. So if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out. Again, a strategy that's probably going to be used 10 to 15% of the time that you come across a motivated seller if you're driving traffic to a website. But if you are manually sourcing data where they're messed up and they're in financial problems and they've got encumbrances, judgments, and liens attached to their property, you can make them 100% of the deals you come across. It's just a matter of what you're choosing to put in your eyesight of what you're going to attack. So again, encompassing all 8 strategies: buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale, list and sell. You've got seller finance, you've got novation, you've got subject to, and reverse flipping. Those are 8 different strategies. Learn them all, right? But use the one that you're going to master, right? Or the couple that you're going to master. For me, I did wholesaling at a high level, listing at a high, selling at a high level. I definitely fixed and flipped for a little while. Mainly my clients did. So I wholesaled and I listed and sold. Mainly that was my bread and butter, my 2. So I'm not telling you to just pick 2 and go with it, but probably not a bad idea. And then when those 2 don't work, then see if the other 8 strategies will work. Or if you're interested in making one of those strategies one of your main business models, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with that as well. Any other questions in the Q&A? No, we're good. We're good. Chat. Good. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that. If anybody else needs anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Those are the 8 real estate exit strategies. Right now, I'm going all in with RealConnected.ai, which is the marketing company driving traffic to whatever website or CRM folks use. Obviously, I love Rocketly. I have ownership in Rocketly, so that's my CRM of choice. And then utilizing RealFuel.ai to source targeted lists to be able to utilize for the reverse flipping. For a lot of my people in my team, I'm giving them those lists, which is why I love Real Fuel, and for sending out mailers and for comping properties nationwide and so much more. So if anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out to me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.